life's not going that great. My antipsychotic meds make me irate. They keep telling me don't jump, but how can I not jump into this great podcast with Katie and Amy, the Happy Corner, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Happy Corner with KB Marion.
And Amy Blaze.
And we have an amazing guest with us today at the Blaze House. We have Mr. Rudy Ruiz from Charismatic Comedy.
Hey.
All right, so Rudy, I said with Charismatic Comedy, but I know you're on a hiatus from Charismatic Comedy right now.
Fifth or sixth time. Yeah, I'm taking a break from. I'm not producing anymore. I did the last show with Ben Hamilton. What was it? Last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the last Charismatic Comedy show.
All right. So you said 5 or 6 breaks. Why do you keep going on these breaks?
Because can we curse? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck yes.
Because motherfuckers piss me off. Like it gets. I'm sorry. Like I love comedy. I don't like the business of comedy.
I get what you're saying.
And that's the thing. It gets to the point where you get burnt out. Because even like when you're like when you have when you have a successful run of shows, everybody's hitting you up.
Right.
And then when you have a string of bad shows, like you're the worst motherfucker walking around. Like, and just the ups and downs of producing, it wears at you, like, emotionally and mentally. It takes a toll on you to the point where it's like one weekend I could have a room packed like 60 people, and then the next show like 5 people show up.
Yeah.
And it's the roller coaster, and I've been doing it for comedy for 5 years, producing for 4 years, and it just got to a point where I started getting very, very bitter.
Yeah.
And I didn't like who I was becoming, so I'm like, that's why I told Excel and Pete that, you know what, I'm gonna do one more Charismatic Comedy show, and that's it. I'm not producing anymore, because it's getting to the point where I'm not even enjoying going to my own production. And if it gets to a point, that's like with regular life. You get to a point, I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you're working a job and you wake up like, man, I don't want to go to this motherfucker today.
Yeah.
And if it gets to that point with something that I have a passion for, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if I get to a point where it's like, I'm dreading the fact that I have a show coming up.
Right.
Because I don't know what's going to happen, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. I should always be excited, for my own production. And it started like seeping its way into me actually going on stage. Yeah, as a comedian. And it started fucking with my creative process. Because I don't write a lot. I think I've told you this before.
Yeah.
I do everything, off the top of my head on stage. Whatever sticks, I try to remember as much of it as I can. But the business of comedy, like, I love comedians, but we're fucking greedy. We're narcissistic. We're so fucking, like, sensitive. And then when it spills into the business side of it,
right,
that just, it creates a really bad vibe and negative energy. And it got to the point where it started affecting me, like worse than usual.
Yeah, it can be. I had to actually, for a while, I took
I remember that.
a hiatus from producing for the exact same reason. I said, and for me, it was primarily like my comedy is suffering right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm bored with my material. Mm-hmm. I'm not enjoying the shows. This has become such a chore that I don't even like comedy. So I was so happy to take a break. As a matter of fact, I was actually going to quit comedy altogether in 2013. And I was like, well, I haven't given it 100% yet. Like, I need to just purely focus on being a good comic. Yeah. And if I still enjoy it in that process, then I'll keep going. But if I don't, then I'm going to be done with it because, and so what happened was once Why So Funny stopped producing shows, I regrouped myself, started writing a lot, and started hitting mics more and getting into a groove and just working out, all right, this is what I suck at right now. Let me focus on getting better at that. And that was the advice I gave you when we had that message conversation back and forth.
Right.
Maybe your passion will come back once you are only focused on being a comedian.
Yeah, I think I know this sounds real bogus. I think I have to force myself to miss it so much, like, that it drives me crazy that I'm not getting on stage.
Right.
And I know that's really fucked up because at any point I can just go to fucking open mic. But now I'm at a point where I like fight with myself because I want to go to an open mic and then I'm like, no, don't fucking go. Until it gets to a point like when I first got into comedy, I had to go. I had to hit an open mic at least 2-3 times a week. Didn't matter what I had going on in my personal life. I used to cancel dates
to go to open
mics. Yeah, that's how
and
much.
It's Rudy.
Like, yeah.
At least you didn't bring him to the open mic.
That'd be some of the worst dates ever. Sometimes, like I see people bring it.
I've seen that happen.
And I'm like, and they're like, yeah, we're on a date. I'm like, you brought her to an open mic?
Yeah.
Like she's supposed to sit through some good comedians and a lot of bad ones. And
then you better hope you don't fucking bomb.
Yeah.
That's too much pressure.
But I don't know. I did one time. I did bring. I'm not gonna say her name, but I did bring a date to an open mic, and I purposely bombed because I knew I was gonna get some pussy later on that night.
Really?
that
It
was
was some
cool.
sympathy pussy?
Yeah, that was sympathy pussy. That was like the best sex I ever had.
She's like, I'm gonna make you feel
Yeah.
real good tonight. It's all right, baby.
But
Let
you
me
know,
suck
I mean,
your
I don't
dick.
mean to be cocky, but to try to bomb purposely is really fucking hard. Because like if I know
some
jokes,
people you could get some notes on how to do it effectively if you would like to
Right.
continue to get sympathy pussy.
like that night I tried to bomb, you know, because when we bomb, we automatically go to our material that works.
Right.
So when nobody was laughing, I felt like shit. I'm like, okay, this isn't working out like I thought it was gonna work
Right.
out.
Yeah.
And by that time, I think it was at the Comedy Shrine, so this is like a long time ago. I think I was only like maybe 3 or 4 minutes in, and you know, no one's laughing. I'm like, okay, I need to go to my emotional drive-through bit,
Right.
or the drunk,
Which
at
is
the AA
hilarious.
meeting
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I'm like, no, you know, because no one's laughing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this to myself right now. And I didn't get one fucking laugh. And then I got off stage, and everybody, and the regulars are looking at me like, what the fuck?
Right.
was
That
that?
was it.
Yeah.
And then after the,
You're like, I'm playing chess, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
playing chess. I'm setting it up.
Her move.
and then after that, I sat next to my date, and then she's like rubbing my back. She goes, it's all right. I'll make it up to you later on tonight. I was like, okay, good, that worked.
Oh, that works.
Okay, that was cool.
I've never tried bombing to get some
yeah.
snatch. That's
Yeah.
a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's what a lot of comedians are doing. Like, I had it. No, okay.
No. I'm gonna wager no.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was an isolated incident.
Yeah, I'll never do that again.
Because I think most people that bring their dates try to crush it.
Crush it,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So they can crush it later. That's
Right,
what they
yeah.
think. That's
Yeah.
what they think.
Like you were talking about, you know, how you write in your material and anything throughout the hiatuses and all that. Are you still the one to just write on stage? And
Yeah, well, the thing is, I know they interviewed Chris Rock one time, and he even said he doesn't write out his material word for word. He makes
Right.
bullet points.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Like, if I get an idea, or I hear something, or all of a sudden I get a punchline that pops into my head, I'll write it down as like a bullet point.
Yeah.
And then every now and then, you know, when I have a chance at an open mic, then I'll work it out on the stage. But it's not like formulated, like set up, punch. Well, you know my
Yeah.
style very well. I mean, I guess I'm more of a storyteller.
Storyteller,
but
I was about to say
I'm
that.
all over the place. Like, sometimes it's not even a punchline.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a funny story.
Yeah, and sometimes I've seen you like stumble onto something. You're just telling a story. And like, oh shit, people thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, that shit was true. Like, I like, you know, so that's always like a cool experience.
Yeah.
I know that you've produced like fucking everywhere. Like you've
yeah.
produced like in the city. You've produced those outlier, almost close to the city, Oak Park area. Produced in Oswego, Illinois.
Yeah.
You've produced a lot. What are some tips you can give comedians? Because like you started producing. I actually remember your first set because I remember what show it was. It was one of your first showcase sets. It was at a Watch the Funny show.
Yeah.
In Lyle. Yeah.
Lyle, at,
yeah. Pete and Johnny's. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Oh, wow. That's a
yeah.
while ago.
Yeah. And so I was curious, as like a producer, when you're producing a show, like what are some of the things that you like look out for? And then you were one of the few comedians I remember that I was like, damn, Rudy's like paying people. Like,
Yeah, like, I think what better explains the whole money aspect. I come from construction.
Okay.
And we do side jobs on the weekends or in the evenings. So if you want to get people that are serious about making money with you, you pay them.
Right.
You know, they're serious about coming out and working for you, you pay them. So I've always stuck with that. So when I started doing comedy, and I started noticing that you actually make a little more money, not much, a little more money producing, and you get a better quality. I'm not knocking any particular comic, but you get a better quality comedian if you pay them.
Yeah.
Or not so much better quality. Maybe that's a bad choice of words. They're more excited, more thrilled to come to the show. Like, oh, I'm going to get some money.
Right.
You know, even if it's just gas money or something. Because there's too many of us that don't get paid.
Yeah, and I think there's a stigma in the comedy community I think needs to stop, which is like, well, they should be able to do the show for free because of this, that, and the other. And I get that for maybe like a guest spot, somebody who's trying to build up and work up to like featuring and stuff like that. But I also feel like there's an expectation with comedians that we should lowball ourselves or not get paid sometimes, where it's like, no, you know, like, oh, because everybody's like, oh, you should just be working on a craft. Stage time is stage time. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, but bills are bills too, and gas is gas.
That's what I stumbled on a lot is realizing that there's some actual comedians that this is what they survive on.
Right.
Like the $50 they're making, they're not gonna go buy beers with. They're paying like their cell phone bill with it,
right?
Or it's gonna go to their light bill or something. So I guess the advice is always don't sell yourself short. Always try to fight for a budget from the venue.
Right.
Say I charge X amount of money. I'm not gonna tell you what I charge, but
right.
I charge X amount of money to produce a show, and then sign contracts. A lot of new producers, when they have showcases, not that I know of, know anything about signing contracts.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Man.
Yeah, and every venue I've ever had, even if it was just a one-night show at a bar, some dive bar, I've always had contracts. And like, you know, like when I had the show at Scoreboards, I had signed a 3-month contract, and then if things went well, we signed another 3 months, and you know, everything's like legit. That's the thing is if you're gonna get into producing, be as legit and as professional as you can, because that's gonna reflect you as a business person. Yeah, comedy's funny, but it's still a business.
Right.
And then treat your comedians as professionals. Even though we're all still trying to find our voice, that has zero to do with you being professional. Okay, so you go on stage, you're still looking for your voice, you're still the business aspect of it is that you're providing a stage, you're providing a service to the public.
Yeah.
And they should be compensated somewhat, I think.
Yeah. And when you're like booking comedians and everything, or if you're a comedian trying to get booked, what are some of the do's and don'ts? Because
I love this question.
Because I ran into a comedian who was very forceful about getting booked on a.
God, it's so funny that I know like so many people like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I got booked on a show, and the person that booked me was like, yeah, I was going to ask you at an open mic, but, you know, there are certain people there that are kind of hounds. Yeah. And so it becomes like, oh, let me ask you through a Facebook message the next day or what, you know. Yeah. So, like, what are some of the do's and don'ts, like, as a comedian for getting booked and stuff? Everybody can jump in on that.
When Charismatic Comedy blew up is when I had it at the theater.
At Madison Street?
Yeah, in Oak Park. That's when it just, like, went crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I had, like, people like Vince Acevedo, Ballhead Phillips.
Yeah, you had some bangers as headliners on those shows, man.
Headliners there. And it got real hot for a minute. And I would always say this, we had, like, me and Pete, and to a certain extent, Excel were charged of the booking process. Right. So I had put anybody that's interested in performing, you know, send an email to booking.com, charismaticcomedy@gmail. Yeah. All right. I'm like, just let me know your avails, you know, send a clip if I've never worked with you or whatever. That's the other thing, too. If I've worked with you, fuck your clip. Yeah. I'm not sending you a fucking clip. if we've been on the stage together like a dozen fucking times.
Right.
All right. I don't mean to be a dick, but that's the truth. But anyway.
I think that is a little petty, though.
That's petty as hell.
I think that's a little petty. Like, if I've seen Amy or Timmy performing really well, I don't need you to send me a clip to get booked at a show. Like, I know you can deliver.
I should go off of that.
Right.
Right. And we had, I'm not going to say his name. He sends an email, book me. That's it. Didn't say good morning, didn't say hi. Just said book me. And then Pete had sent me a screenshot of it, and I think it was an inbox. And then I inboxed him back. I'm like, no. I'm like, if you're not going to follow the professional way of requesting to be booked,
right.
I'm not booking you for the fucking show. You suck anyway, but it isn't getting booked on there. But yeah, it's treat people how you want to be treated. And I think in comedy, that line is blurred. Because the friendship aspect kind of dilutes the whole professionalism. And that's what a lot of comics need to stop fucking doing. Like, we're cool.
Right.
But you
that
still have...
Yeah, that doesn't mean I can necessarily book you for a show.
Right, yeah. And that's... The biggest problem I had was turning people away because we couldn't book them.
Right.
We were booked like 3 months out because everybody wanted to get on that show. And some people they take it personal.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm sorry, dude, we're booked like 3 months out. Can I get a guest spot? The guest spots are filled. Well, man, if you have someone in the block that drops out, can you this? And okay, dude. And then like 2 weeks later, they send me another message. Hey, man, you have anything? Like, dude, I just told you 2 weeks ago. Like, really? But yeah, it wears on you. It wears on you a lot. And that's part of the reason I've taken a break from it. And I don't regret this break.
Yeah.
Like, I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, that's some heavy stuff. You said that you known some people to be really aggressive.
Yeah, I know, like, people that are trying to, like, pull you aside at an open mic to ask if, like, they'll be on your show, and then you got, like, 4 sharks swimming around you.
Yeah.
Right. Like, stop that. Like, you're making it awkward. If you're making me feel bad that I got booked for a show, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they book you, they never book me. I'm like, okay, then work harder. I don't know what to tell you.
You know, or it could be that you don't fit maybe their lineup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so important when you're booking a lineup. It has to flow. Like,
Rudy does a good job of booking lineups.
yeah, I'm badass. Like, I'm not even going to deny that. I'm awesome at booking lineups.
Rudy does book lineups.
And there's a certain formula for it. I've been to shows where just I see the lineup, I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
This person's comedy style is way too dark.
Right.
This person's way too, like, uppity and all over the place. And then the headliner is very political or very conservative. You cannot have that. It's not, I mean, but then I've been to shows where I've seen a lineup like that and somehow it works. And it's the weirdest thing to me. But yeah.
Especially if the comedians are really good.
Yeah.
It can work, but I think that there has to be a huge consideration. And, like, working, you know, with Smoke Break, like, we've had conversations about comedians of who we want on and stuff like that. And you may toss out something, like I had one that got kind of vetoed. And it wasn't, everything that was said was totally justifiable. Mm-hmm. And I had to sup that, like, all right, I totally get what you're saying. That's an absolute valid point. All right, so, you know, and, you know, despite that, you can't be, you have to think about the bigger picture of the whole show.
Yeah, the overall quality of your end product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to cut down on the allegiances, because sometimes with looking at stand-up comedy, sometimes I see the same lineups in rotation and everything, and I'm like, man, that's and sometimes those lineups, I'm like, that's not really a dope lineup. That's all of your friends booked on the show.
Yep.
I hate that. I fucking hate that so bad.
a lot.
I've always tried. It's rare that you will ever see my lineup being all white, all Latino, all black.
Yeah.
There's blacks, Asians, females, white guys, Muslims, whatever.
Yeah, you also do a really good job of having a diverse
I love that.
pool of comedians to come through, and which is you know, sometimes I do see some showcases. I'm like, man, that is really, like, you'll see like week to week to week to week to week. There's been no women. No, and I'm not saying that like. Sometimes it's coincidental. They're not even thinking about it. They're like, oh, he's killing right now. I need to get him out here.
Yeah.
Or he's finally available. I can actually book him. But sometimes I wonder if their eyes are open to the other, you know, like women or other comedians. Like, because a lot of times comedians roll in certain circles, and sometimes your circle is all you kind of identify with,
Right. Yeah.
and you think it's funny, and so then that's what, you know, your lineup becomes. So it's about kind of, I think one of the biggest things is as comedians, sometimes we're afraid to step out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I think with newer, I'm not knocking newer comics, but we've all been there.
Yeah.
You.
Everybody was a newbie at one point.
You hit a
There's no
certain
way to go.
certain mics, and you do well there because they know you.
Right.
That's me. I will be the first to do that.
I used to do that too, and it wasn't until I branched out. Like I mean, I still don't hit enough city mics like I should, but it wasn't until I would go to mics in the city, or even the road. Like I remember Pete and I, we've done a bunch of gigs looking for work out in Ohio. I've been in New York twice. That, I think ultimately that will tell you if you're funny. Like, because no one knows you. Like, when I performed at the comic strip, I'd only been doing comedy like 10 months.
Yeah, it was a real quick turnaround when you ended up doing
Yeah,
that.
that was like so fucking surreal to be doing comedy for 10 months, and then I got booked at the comic strip in New York. I was like, But, yeah, that was cool. But yeah, I think it's really important to get out of your comfort zone as soon as you can.
Yeah.
This way you can see where you know who's really good at that. And even though he's a pain in the ass, but he's a good friend of mine, Jay Washington. Like Jay he's done every audience imaginable.
Yeah.
You know, there's not one audience.
Yeah, he's done audiences. I'm like, I wouldn't even touch that.
Yeah.
Like a black church show.
And you just murder
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think that my creationism joke is gonna run over, go over too well with them right there at the church. So, but yeah, stepping on it, you know, that comfort zone is a huge thing. You said you said you're guilty of not doing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, why do you think? Is you scared or?
No, I don't think I'm scared. I don't think I'm
It's
scared.
just you're just comfortable in your comfort zone.
Yeah, I go to I'm very routine. I go to the same places every week.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even perform there. You know that.
Yeah.
I just go because I like hanging out with people.
Yeah.
It's just get out of the house.
That is one thing I do miss.
Hang
Is just
out.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Like I've had some of the best conversations and the best times of my life after a show.
After a show is like one of the best.
Because everybody's all on 10 from the adrenaline, and then you just hear some of the best funny stories that you'll never hear on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have friends who like, if they don't have like work or they're not busy, and they'll come out to a show, they're like, dude, I enjoy listening to you guys just bullshit after the show.
Right.
Because it's some of the most entertaining thing that like comedians are generally, like, everybody likes to pick us as like these very depressed people, bipolar. Yeah, there's that. But there's also a portion, another part of us that's like, I would rather have a conversation with a comedian every day, all day, versus a lot of other people. And I'm around very educated, interesting people, but I think comedians have a way of seeing things in a perspective that I'm just like,
We all relate.
yeah.
It's just nice.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that once, because I'm really busy this year. I'm getting married this year. I got shit to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Cool.
So I'm hoping that after that is done and I'm not like trying to plan shit all the
Right,
time,
absolutely.
that I can kind of expand a little bit. Because I wasn't going to do comedy at all this year but I can't stay away.
Yeah, right? It's like,
Like, every time I try and walk away, Excel and Pete drag me back in.
Yeah.
And then
It's
she-
good
she
to
does
good
too.
to have those people.
it,
It's annoying.
I
I love you guys.
I know.
I'm like, I feel like Al Pacino and The Godfather. Like, they keep pulling you back in.
Yeah.
But no, it is. Yeah, to have people like that, especially like, Excel and Pete, where I tell them like, that's it, I'm done, whatever, like, no, you need to hit more open mics.
Yeah.
You need to do this, like, no, you need to shut the fuck up and leave
Right.
me alone.
Yeah.
And just let me simmer in my depression.
That's the best and worst part of having a sibling in comedy with you.
Oh, yeah, I bet, yeah.
He does that shit to me all the time. If I text him and I'm like, I'm not coming out, he'd be like, Amy, you have a show this weekend, and I think you need to practice. Like, every fucking, I'm like, okay, manager brother.
Right.
Yeah, Excel and Pete.
Hey, at least he didn't go Joe Jackson on you.
But yeah, Excel and Pete, they'll check me every now and then, like, how many open mics did you hit this month? 3.
Yeah.
Like, in 1 month? Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
You know what though? Like, earlier you were talking about comedians being really sensitive, and it's about feedback or criticism. I've gotten better with it now because of comedy. Because one, the audience gives you feedback immediately, but also comedians will frequently give me feedback, and I only take really I try to be earnest in when I take it. But there are certain people I'm like, you need to shut the fuck up talking to me.
Yeah.
But there are some people that I'm like, that's a good observation. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, I even had the weirdest thing. I had this happen twice, and it was both at AOK Comedy's open mic, where I'll do a bit, and then after the show's, after the mic's done, we're all hanging out, and just civilian. It was like, that was really funny, but, and then right away I'm like, you don't know shit, shut the fuck up. And they'll say something, I'm like, oh my god, like, that actually could work.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that happened twice.
Wow.
And it worked.
They have a really good, smart audience up at AOK.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, some crowds, if an audience member comes up to me and like, you should, and I'm like,
Yeah, no, I shut it out right away. They'll talk now, just
Especially if they're drunk. You're like, yeah.
or they always come to you and do their bits for you. Like, I was going to do this, and then they do their whole thing. And
I did Scott Galvin. I love his stuff.
Yeah, so do I.
He was running a show in Rockford, or no, Love's Park.
Love Spark, yeah.
At Town Hall?
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the very first shows I did for him. It was me and Joe Larkin carpooled up there. And this dude was at the bar drunk, and we checked in with the bartender, like, where the comics were performing tonight. And this guy was drunk as hell. He's like, oh, you're the comedians tonight. And we're like, yeah. He's like, hey, I got a joke for you. So then Joe, like, kind of hits you with his shoe.
Yeah.
Like, here we go.
And Joe is real sly with the nudge.
Yeah, he like does it.
An elbow, a little kick.
Yeah, man.
So then this dude tells this corny street joke, and I just lost my shit and just started laughing because I love corny ass street jokes.
Yeah.
And Joe just looked at me like, motherfucker.
Whose side are you
Serious?
on?
Really? This is funny. That was fucking hilarious. I didn't
Yeah,
expect
but
it.
he's not stand up though. He's just he's a drunk at a bar.
Yeah.
Like when people got up in arms about the old dude performing stand up and it was all somebody else's stuff. It was basically like stand up karaoke.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not trying to become a professional. It was like a thing.
Oh, I've seen that happen before, yeah.
It was purely like, like comedians get real sensitive about it. And like sometimes it's different when I see a comedian trying to pass off another comedian's joke as their own, and they straight up bit or stole the material. But when it's like somebody who's just goofing around, maybe they're trying to get comfortable on stage, maybe he was marking something off his bucket list, he was like 70 something, like let the old dude be. Like, it ain't like he made a YouTube video and like it's calling him to change his Facebook to comedian.
Oh, Lord.
Like it was purely like just straight up old dude checking off the bucket list thing.
Yeah, I've seen that before, yeah.
So like, comedians are really sensitive though.
Oh,
A little
yeah,
bit.
really, so yeah.
Well, Stonehouse, when Stonehouse was still a mic in Lamont, go down for comedy. We had Haley's Law, where if an audience member was talking through your set or heckling you, that the comedian who was up could decide if they left or if they came up and did 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we only had a couple people go up, but the majority of them just go up there and do street jokes.
Very.
And then the comedians heckle them for like 5 minutes.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
It was cool, but it's like you're giving them the power.
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
know,
can see that too.
yeah, which sucks. And sometimes it went well, and sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap up. We're about to take our quick break, and we will be right back with the Happy Corner. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Happy Corner. We are still here. It's me, KB Marion, and
Amy Blaze.
with our special guest, we have Mr. Rudy Ruiz.
Hey.
Right on break, we were talking about, style and everything. You dress to the nines very frequently. Despite working construction, you are a very sharp-dressed man.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of spending money on clothes. Like, I've skipped, electric bills.
For clothes?
Yeah. I swear to God, I've had, my
man.
power turned off because I'm like, fuck it, I'll pay it, next month. And just to go buy a suit or buy a tie.
I wonder, what does your closet look like? Like, how many pair of shoes you got?
I only got 2 pairs of shoes. Dress shoes.
Okay.
But they're expensive fucking shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got I've never counted them. I gotta have 100 different ties.
Are you color coordinated in your
closet? Yeah. I'll spend if I have money on me and I want to go shopping for a suit, I never go to the people working at the place.
Right.
I coordinate all my own shit.
Okay.
And I love fashion, men's fashion when it comes to suits, and I coordinate all my. I mean, I'm not like Kanye and shit,
Right.
But I just
Kanye.
I just like bringing my own, flair to it. I guess I don't know, but yeah, no, I love dressing up.
No,
and it's funny because, this is a little personal thing about me. You can tell what kind of mood I'm in by the way I dress.
Yeah.
If I'm in a suit, I'm in a real good fucking mood. If I'm in khakis and a button down, I'm doing all right. If I'm in jeans and a t-shirt, I'm just chilling. It's whatever. If you ever catch me in sweats, get the fuck away from me.
Oh shit,
man.
it's about to be a rampage.
Yeah, I don't even wear sweats to the fucking gym.
Yeah.
I wear jeans to the gym and then put the sweats on in the gym. And when I'm done working out,
You take them off.
I'll take them off, put the jeans back on.
Wow.
I don't even wear sweats out in public. I hate wearing sweats.
They say
Wow.
if you wearing sweats out in public, it's like you admitting to the world you've given up on life.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and I never meant for that to be my trademark, thing to be known for. But that's
The
what
first
I'm known
time you
for.
met Rudy, what was he wearing?
A suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timmy behind the sound.
Yeah, it was a suit. It was the Crazy Eights.
Yep. Me too.
Last year at the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on that.
But then I don't know where the whole gangster hitman thing came about.
Really, Rudy, you
No,
don't know
seriously,
where.
I mean,
really.
Because think about it, if you put my suit on somebody else, they don't get that. If you put it on Timmy, he ain't gonna look like a gangster. He ain't gonna look like a hitman.
I think.
But for some reason,
Italian,
you put it on
like he
me,
is.
and then right away I look intimidating. I ain't gonna fuck with Rudy. I don't know what kind of mood he's in. Look at the way he's looking at people.
This is just my face, man.
Yeah.
I think coupled with the accessories of the hat, you always
Maybe, yeah.
and then the way the way you drink, even the way you drink is really sophisticated. Come on, man.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen the way you drink. I'm not talking about how much you consume.
Like how he holds his glass.
He holds his glass and
How?
yeah.
I
Show
never
me.
thought about that.
Wait, I gotta do it on this.
What else? I don't have anything else.
And okay, so it'll be
You're right. He does
it's
hold it.
very
cash.
it's what is
Natural.
that show? Mad Men.
Yeah, I can Pete bust my balls about that all the time. Yeah.
It's just very
That's
if you didn't work
I don't know.
construction, you'd end up in an office and you would have
And the
Thirsty
fact
Fridays.
the fact that you work construction sounds super gangster because it just sounds like a cover up.
right, it does.
No
you're
man
laundering
working
money.
construction is wearing
Yeah,
this out.
you're just
Yeah,
laundering money
Yeah.
through the
You know,
construction
it was a
system.
funny story. One time, Excel was doing a show for Eric Younglove at the Penny Road Pub. This was 3 years ago. It was wintertime. And they had the show in the lower part of the bar. So there's a staircase that goes down, and then so you see who's coming down the stairs.
Yeah.
Excel was in the back. I think Eric was hosting. I showed up late. I had a fedora on, I had my suit, and I had a long trench coat on, like a wool trench coat.
Yeah.
So when you walk in the bar, all these lights are on, but when you go down into the lower level, it's pitch black. So your eyes have to adjust to the lighting. As I'm going down, I'm looking for Excel, and I'm like scanning the room, looking for Excel.
Looking for Excel, because if anybody look up Xavier Lamont,
Yeah.
you will notice him in a room immediately.
Right. And I didn't know he was sitting all the way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking out, in the audience, and then finally I see him waving, and he's laughing. And I'm like, what the fuck is he laughing at? I go sit down, and he's like cracking up. I'm like, what? He's like, if you could have saw what I just saw. I go, what are you talking about? He's like, motherfucker, he goes, you're walking down the stairs, then you stop halfway, and you're scanning the room like you're getting ready to shoot people. I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah, you did. He's like, if you would have just saw what I saw, I'm sitting in the back, the audience is watching Eric, you stop midway, and then it's like everybody in unison just looked up, like, what the fuck? Like, he goes, and then they kind of just kept an eye on you as you walk towards me, and then once they seen me with you, they're like, oh, okay.
You do get a killer stare, man. Like, he do get a killer stare, especially when he, like, it's soft is when you smile and everything.
Right.
But, like, when you're just straight faced, it is kind of like, oh, he about to wreck somebody. Like, it might go down.
I get that from my dad. But yeah, I get that, well, we're talking on break, that Mojo's thing that happened with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, it kicked in, and then Mel, like, I thought you were like gonna fucking strangle him, like, right then and there. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did. I apologized to Mel that whole night. She gave me, like, free beers. She's like, that was the most awesome thing I've ever seen. But then I feel bad. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make people uncomfortable, because I don't. I don't like making people uncomfortable. I don't like that. And then I inboxed her. She's like, okay, stop. It's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I've seen much worse things happen.
Right.
I've seen much worse things.
Yeah.
So, especially in that place. There's,
Yeah. But, I guess that whole, like, the suit thing and then the mob thing, like, that's, like, what I'm known for now, like, my style.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone to Mike's dressed like this, and people don't even recognize me.
Yeah, the first time I saw you in jeans, t-shirt, and a hat, I was like, who the fuck? I was like, he looked familiar. I was like, Rudy?
Yeah.
Like, I was,
Yeah.
like, it's something I never seen. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not used to you like this.
No.
I think I've seen you in jeans and a t-shirt 4 times, and I've known you for like 5.5 years,
I think
6
this
years.
was the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little shocking. But I'm glad. You look more like you're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know your lady is moving in with you.
Yeah, she moved in on last Wednesday.
Can love and comedy exist? Can they exist?
Function, like, together?
Function, yeah.
I think it can, but I think if you have a significant other that isn't a comedian, they at least have to be knowledgeable about your profession as a comedian to know that, I'm going to be out doing open mics.
Right.
There's going to be pictures taken. There might be a random fan that comes up. They need, like, if you, like, Tay, her name's Tay. She, she's never been around comedy or anything.
Right.
So, first of all, just to be in a relationship with a comedian, you should deserve a Purple Heart. Like, you should, because we think on a very different level.
Right.
And I think it works as long as the other one knows, that there's going to be times you're going to be out late.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be times where, you're going to be in a creative headspace. So, you might not have that one-on-one time that they want or whatever. It's very different. I've dated women that aren't comedians. I've dated women that were comedians. And
I like how you said that.
Yeah.
Like I won't do that again. Type of thing.
But
That's a very tough
it is
line
because,
to toe.
like, if you date someone that's not a comedian and you break up, chance of them bumping in
Yeah.
are rare.
Yeah.
If you're banging somebody as a comedian and it doesn't go
banging
well,
and having a relationship is different.
Yes.
well, that's a good point. But if you're in a relationship with a fellow comedian,
Yeah.
doesn't work out, and it ends bad,
still gotta see each other.
you still got to see each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I dated one comedian. I don't know call it dated, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Didn't work out, and now whenever we see each other at a show, it's awkward.
Yeah.
Not for me,
Right.
because I forgot about the shit. It's weird for her,
Yeah.
and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it can work out as long as there's an understanding, a mutual understanding. But sometimes it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're getting married and you're a comedian.
I became a comedian while I was already with him, and I think I have that to my advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he was with you before you. Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, one day my brother did an open mic, and I saw it, and the following week I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then he used to come to the open mics, and now he just comes to shows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to show his support
That's
and
cool.
pay money towards me.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, but he's super supportive. Like, yeah, what I gotta tell him what time I'll be home.
That's the only thing you have to do is tell him. Yeah. That's pretty
cool.
dope.
Yeah, that
It
is.
is. I'm very lucky.
Yeah. I'm in well, what's funny is one of my friends said I had to stop being a robot because he was like, you can't be gangster all the time. Like,
Yeah.
like, comedians need love too. Like, you should try to
Right,
get in a
yeah.
relationship or something. And he was like, and I was like, you know what though? Like, when I'm in a relationship, I am like 100% in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so it is I don't really want to make time for that.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird, because I find so many comedians are search for like to be in, I don't know what it is, but like, I feel like comedians are very serial monogamous.
Yeah.
Like, they have
yeah.
a tendency to really want to be in a
Yeah,
relationship,
they wanna
which is,
they want to have that love waiting for them at home.
Mm-hmm.
See, my problem is like I was married for 15 years. Married 13, we were together 15, and then I got divorced like 7 years ago. So I've been, not that I've been single, but I haven't been in a like monogamous, like full blown committed relationship until now.
yeah.
And I have a problem with, there's a lot of things I have to check myself, because if I get tired of a motherfucker, I just leave.
Yeah.
I can't do that now. 'Cause She
Right.
lives with me, so now it's forcing me out, and I actually have to work on this,
Right.
and I'm not used to that. I'm used to like, you pissing me off. I don't like the way you treat you cereal or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, fuck
Yeah.
out of here,
That is what it becomes.
Yeah, so now there's a lot of compromise and give and take, and it's different. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still the robot, man. I don't
It's fine. I'm marrying a robot.
really
Yes.
not the emotional type.
No. No, I brought it out of him a little bit. A little bit.
I mean, he's in a Taylor Swift and Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. Like, not because he, like, wants to bang them, because he respects them as artists. Kelly, maybe. But, like, yeah.
That's very sensitive of him to even listen to
Yeah.
them in the first
I just
place.
saw him. I was like, he looks like more of a Motorhead type guy. Like,
No.
wow, no shit.
I know. Looks are deceiving, man.
And so, like, talking about looks, and you were talking about how you dress, do you think that how you look on stage as a comedian, is that important? That goes
Like
for
appearance?
everybody. Yeah, like what you wear, all that type of stuff.
I think to a certain extent, yeah.
I do, too.
Yeah, I think if you go up there in, like, cargo shorts, and a wife beater or something, I'm like, dude, get the fuck off the stage.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you gotta have
You
at
couldn't
least-
even put a shirt on for this.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying you have to dress like I do, but at least put on jeans and a shirt or something.
I try
you
to
know?
look nice, like, every...
Yeah,
even
but
open mic I do.
you know
Yeah.
what? I've gotten a lot of I don't know, the compliments or whatever, but what's the guy's name? The one that's always at the Laugh Out Loud open mic, Glenn. Is his name Glenn? He's a bigger dude. He wears glasses.
I don't know.
I think his name's Glenn. If I'm fucking your name up, I'm sorry. But he told me, he's like, every time you come here, he goes, I feel like shit when you walk in the room. I'm like, what did I do? He's like, dude, you come here, you're always dressed to the nines,
Mhm.
and like you're taking this seriously. Like this is what
Yeah.
you want to do. I'm like, man, I just wanted to put this suit on, bro, and
Yeah,
make people
yeah.
laugh. Like, I didn't care to outdo anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that a lot because when I walk in, you see a suit, you automatically associate that with being professional.
Yeah.
And like this dude's on his game.
Well, we have two, Jake Barron and Andrew Farrar, who was our guest last episode.
Yeah.
Always in suits.
Yeah.
At open mics because they work at car dealerships.
Yeah.
Yeah, they work. So they go
Yeah.
to the mic right after
Yeah.
that.
Right.
I actually like put on.
Yeah,
a suit.
you
I
do
it's
it.
funny. I put on suits to go to open mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really have to dress. Like this.
Right.
I remember when I was in Vegas, we had opened up for me and my comedy partner had opened up for Edwin San Juan. He's the headliner at Planet Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And what was funny was that my comedy partner Leroy came out with his outfit on, and our friend Charlie Stone, who works with Edwin, is a feature and host for him, said, "No, bro, no, I got to stop you." And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "'Cause you're wearing shorts." And they were nice shorts. It wasn't like it was baggy or anything. It was really like preppy or whatever. And he was like, "Why?" And then Charlie goes, "Edwin will snap on you if you wear shorts on stage." Like, he was like, it's just that's the only like rule he has about attire is, he's like, "Fuck that. Nobody wants to see your knobby knees and that bullshit." You know, like, and there have been times where there are certain stages where if they sit a little bit high, you can almost see too much. Because I saw this one chick and she was performing and she was in a skirt and I was like, ooh, in the skirt, like she was very like physical.
Yeah.
And the more active she got, the more it started to rise up a little bit. And I was like, ooh, I hope she get the light soon because we about to see some punani and a couple of more shifts here.
Yeah.
You know, like
Dinner and a show.
a dinner and a show.
Whatever.
I wasn't eating it.
Good. That's good. I can't wear a skirt on any sort of. I'm a leggings type of girl if I'm gonna wear a dress.
Yeah, I can't
like,
wear a skirt.
We
either.
don't
Fuck
need.
that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good look for you. I feel that way with sandals too. Like I don't want to see your fucking feet, man.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what type of setting I'm in, what I wear. But it's one of those things where I realized, like, I've worn some outfits on stage when I was doing certain shows. And I was like, you know, like, this looks good, but I'm not comfortable performing my comedy.
Yeah,
And I got to a point where I was like, I need to look good, but I need to be comfortable. I have to figure out a style that, like, because if I'm not comfortable, I'm going through the motions of my shit, but I'm really
It's
not in the
interesting
moment
you
of
say
it.
that because there's times I'll purposely dress like this, and I go on stage and I'm uncomfortable because I'm dressed like this because it's not what I'm used to wearing.
Yeah.
Like the first time I wore jeans and a t-shirt and I went to the Riddles open mic, Jay didn't recognize me.
Yeah.
And Jay was, he was the host there.
Yeah.
And I walked in and he like did a double take. He's like, "What the fuck are you wearing?" I'm like, "I didn't feel like wearing a suit tonight." And the whole time, I mean, we all get the butterflies before you go up, but mine were like on overtime.
Yeah.
Just because you were in jeans.
Because I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And then Jay was like, "Usually this guy is known for wearing suits. I don't know what the fuck he's wearing tonight, but, ladies and gentlemen, Rudy Ruiz." And I get up there, I'm like, "Oh, great, thanks for the fucking intro."
Yeah.
So now I'm self-conscious because I got jeans on, but like we were talking earlier, get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So if I ever catch me at open mic, I'm like, trying to get out of the comfort
You're trying
zone.
it out, man.
Oh, that's really cute.
That is cute.
I'm always interested in, like, when, comedians get into, like, 5, 6, 7 years of comedy, what is making it to you? Because I had this conversation with a friend, and he was like, "Oh, well, I just feel like I'm doing bullshit." And I was like, but step back and get a better perspective and really look at what you're doing. Because you quit your job and you're only doing comedy. And I think that is totally dope in and of itself.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Right.
But I would totally switch positions with you right now to be doing that.
If you do comedy full time,
Yeah.
like that's your only source of income, that's awesome. I've tried to do it almost twice. I don't have enough income that I make from comedy,
Yeah.
you know, to sustain myself, you know, just paying bills. So, you know, I do the construction thing. But I don't know, making it, I guess everybody has a different idea of what making it is. Like,
But what's yours?
like long term? Or
Yeah,
just like
long
right
term.
now? Oh, long term. Like, to me, making it is, if I can have my name in the same sentence as like Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, Louis C.K., that's me making it. I know
Yeah.
that's like a really, really outlandish fucking goal. But that's, you know, that's me making it. That's my personal thing. Like, if one day if I could be...
So
you know,
you won't have had made it unless that happens.
For me personally, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm... Yeah, if
I can do that for you right now.
You can type up a sentence.
But, you know, when I'm on that level... But then on the flip side, it's like, okay, if I don't ever achieve that type of notoriety, you know, I'm cool with, you know, just touring the country.
Yeah.
As long as it's full-time comedy. I don't have to be all over the TV. I don't, you know... But it's a weird thing.
Yeah, no. I think that's
Yeah.
cool because, like, I think people get it misconstrued. Like, every comedian is chasing after the same
Right,
dream
yeah.
Oh yeah.
of, like, their
Just
idea
fame.
of...
Yeah,
Yeah.
fame, right, yeah.
Like, people, you know, some people think, like, oh, they're just, you know, they all want to be Kevin Hart or whomever is hot at the time or whatever. And I'm like, a lot of comedians, I don't think really necessarily even want
Right.
all of that. I think a lot of them...
You know, I say that now, but I don't think I can handle fame.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at the way I snap at people.
Yeah.
You know how I snap
Yeah.
at people.
Oh, you would have a ton of lawsuits on
Yeah, I would,
paparazzis and
like-
shit. Like...
I would, like, beating the shit out of paparazzi, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't do well with that type of scenario.
No,
So-
I wouldn't do good with people
No.
talking shit. That's
Yeah.
just my thing.
I
wouldn't be good
I
with
don't think
that.
I could handle fame. There's no way.
People got a lot of shit to say about people who, like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah,
why
but
are you
you-
talking shit about this?
But you
Yeah.
two would be so entertaining because you would snap back.
Yeah.
Like, that would be like...
Well, yeah, on Twitter.
You know, like, I
Yeah.
would be like, oh, this is... I just watch Twitter on my feed and eat popcorn and watch that shit. I'd pay trolls just to be assholes, purely
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
reaction.
Let's do this. That's funny.
See, I'm, like, scared if... Not even the fame. I'm scared of myself if I start making that big money.
Yeah.
Because I know what I do with the money I make now and my vices. You give me an unlimited amount of money, and I'm making headlines, and not because of comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do, like, you know, throw these pimped out parties with strippers and coke. all over the place.
I think your definition of making it should just be a series of goals. Like, one step at a time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So, like, right now, my goal for making it for
Yeah.
me at the moment would be to live off of comedy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting too pretty, but I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be making it for me right now, and then I would try to obtain the next goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, it's all about perspective,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of comedians that they put like a deadline,
Ooh.
and that's
Yeah, you
really
can't do
bad.
that.
That's really
because
bad.
They're like, oh, if I'm not doing, you know, if I'm not headlining so and so club by this date, then I'm doing something wrong, and that's not the way it fucking
No.
works. It never works.
There's
like
no
that.
blueprint. There's no,
No, there's not.
way to figure out what... You know, like... I don't know. What's interesting is when I first started comedy, my whole perspective was always like, I just want to be really good at this. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, and I had some, like, you know, friends in comedy or whatever who really was like, man, we won't be on TV, we're gonna get famous. And I'm like, I just really want to be good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to suck. You know, like, I don't want to... Because at the end of it, you have to see that long-term, bigger picture of it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like, if you go chasing certain things, like there's a lot of ways in this day and age to get famous. Like,
Oh, yeah,
why would you
definitely.
choose this route?
yeah.
Like, if that's all you really wanted, you could do some stupid shit on
YouTube.
yeah. all that Twitter or whatever, and get famous. Like, But this is like a grind. And you know what's crazy is I had I think it was Dave Sartorius who said, I hate when comedians say, this is, what did he say? He said something to the effect of,
Comedy is not supposed to be hard. Was that?
no, it was something about work. Like, and I was like, no, but like, or that it's not supposed to be fun or something to that effect of fun and work and equating it like, and I get that this is work, but it can be fun. And the more you work at it, the more fun it is.
Yeah.
Like, I like, it does, you don't have to like prove its importance by saying like, oh, it's so treacherous. Enjoy that moment of it being treacherous because...
Yeah, I think Howard Stern was interviewing Louis C.K. a couple months ago, and Howard Stern had asked Louis, do you miss the grind? Do you miss coming up? And he's like, yeah. He's like, if I could trade, if I could trade my life for one of those up-and-coming comedians, that live in the Bronx or whatever, they're renting out an apartment with 4 other comedians, and they're just grinding, going to open mics, because I'd trade that in a heartbeat.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like, because I miss that, not knowing what's going to come of my career. He goes,
Yeah.
I miss that part. I miss the grinding of it. And it's, when I first heard that, I'm like, what? But then I keep, I don't realize, he's on a completely different level.
Right.
As far as success and all that. So I'm like, okay, I get it. It still kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I know there's going to come a day, if we all stay in this game long enough, we're going to look back and say, oh, remember those shows at Smoke Break? Or remember when I had Charismatic Comedy? We're going to, make fun of it. And I'm like, man, I miss those days where it wasn't such a business like it will be later on down the road.
Right. Like, when Leroy and I went road tripping past summer, spent 2 weeks out just enjoying like the road, but doing comedy on it, which was really dope. Like, and if you haven't done a Great American Road Trip, you should do it. Especially because gas is so low now. But like he was sleeping a lot. Like he was the worst co-pilot ever because he was sleeping a lot, and I had to tell him, I was like, dude, you need to like wake up. He was like, what? He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, this is, you don't get to do first time ever again. Like you driving across country to Los Angeles. Yeah, that's so, after you've done it once, like our friend Corey Calvert's like, yeah, just do it in a day nonstop, just drive. Like it's no big deal. He doesn't even give a shit about the mountains, about it. Because, after that first time, that loss is gone. So, like, when you're in the moment of it, like, being present in the moment of it, like, enjoying it is a huge... is a huge aspect of it. Like, don't try to fast forward. It's like, I put it in a perspective of when I hear my students say, man, I can't wait till I'm an adult, really. I'm like, no, you really don't even know.
Cherish this
like, like when your mom is buying your Jordans and your PS4 and the biggest thing you're planning for is prom. Like, enjoy that. Don't try to speedy through this important, because you're not getting it back.
Like my son, he'll be 20 in May this year. I remember last year he was talking about going out and get his own place. I'm like, why? Yeah. He's like, well, I heard Mom's mention that, that you moved out when you were 18. I'm like, yeah, but if I could have stayed at home a couple more years, I would have done it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you don't have anything going on right now as far as, like, bills.
Right.
You got your cell phone, your car payment, that's it. Like, stay with your mom and your stepdad until you're 20, whatever the fuck. And build your credit. Yeah. All that shit. Like me, I didn't do that. Like me, I was 18, out of the house, completely fucked my credit up. But yeah, I go, no, cherish what you have right now, because you're not gonna get it back when you actually move out into the real world. You're not gonna have that anymore.
Adulting's not that fun.
Some
of it's fun.
Some of it is fun, but it's fun because of it's not the adulting other stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I have way more fun on my birthday now that I'm older than when I was younger. Because I'm like, normally every day is not about my ass. Yeah. So, like, I have one day where it's like I get to kind of have a good time or whatever.
Yeah, like my birthday roast last November, I was mad because no one came out. But then Pete and Ricky March, Eric Resendiz, they're like, dude, this was the most awesome time I've had.
Yeah, and we got to chill with Rob Hines,
yeah,
which
Rob
was
Hines
really
came
cool.
out. That was really cool. So I'm apologizing. I'm like, I'm sorry we don't have an audience. Like, man, you kidding me? Like, we had a great time.
Yeah.
Just busting on each other. I mean, eventually I think we had like 10 or 12 people from the bar that came down. But yeah, and I look back, I'm like, you know what? That was actually pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, like,
I mean, it wasn't like remember the first roast I had?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome. I mean, like 50 people came out. I didn't know shit about comedy.
I thought it was hilarious.
That was the
because,
most arrogant thing I've ever done in comedy.
Yeah, because everybody's like, who's, like I saw, and then what was funny was the comedians could be so goddamn petty. They really can. Because it was, you know how people do subliminal jabs at you, but they don't mention your name? It's like, yeah, you got new comedians coming in doing roasts of themselves. Who the fuck do they think they... And it was like...
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And like, they're not saying Rudy, but he's the only motherfucker that had a roast.
Right.
But guess what? Guess how many roasts happened after that?
Yeah.
A lot of people start doing it and making it more known in public about it. Like,
You know what's funny that you bring that up? I've had ideas and I've done shows with them. Then I see other shows that mimic my fucking idea.
yeah.
And I hate that shit. I wish I could put a patent on my fucking format. I'm
Yeah.
like, motherfucker, you weren't doing that until I came out with it. You saw the show and now you're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my first birthday roast, I'll let the Blazers know. I was doing 6 months?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know
Lord.
shit.
Yeah, so people were really like, who the fuck is this guy?
I was getting so much shit for that. And then I hired a professional camera company to record. It's on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
I hired Marcus,
Yeah.
professional photographer. I must have dropped like $500. I had a camera crew there. I had a professional photographer there. Like, 10 comics on the lineup?
On a dais,
On the dais. And, I didn't know any of them.
Wow.
I just said I want to have a fucking. At first, it was I wanted my birthday party there, and that's when Patrick Newson was like, "No, you should have a comedy roast."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, I don't fucking know anybody." He's like, "Fuck that. So what? Just have a comedy roast."
Yeah.
And then it turned to a comedy roast, and then I got like mic'd and everything, and yeah, we had like 50, 60 people show up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was jam packed. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But,
that was a cool time.
Yeah, but legitimately, I'm not saying that Rudy invented roast. What I'm saying is that a lot of local comics never thought to do that really.
Yeah.
They would roast like concepts maybe, but they wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh, it's my birthday and I'm gonna have a group of comedians come out and do a roast." Like it was, like that was very. It just wasn't in the spectrum because when you think of roast, it's somebody who's famous or well known, or
Yeah.
So like, but I did see a lot of, stuff pop up after that.
Yeah. Those are dangerous though. Comedy roasts.
You know what? Have you ever done a roast?
No.
No. Would you ever do a roast?
Like, get roasted?
No, like be a part of a roast and roast somebody else.
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
You know what I found is I don't like it.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, I don't like
I think I've had you on all 3 of my.
Yeah, and I perpetually get worse. But you know what it is that for me, like, I genuinely like most people, and so with me, I have to go to like my mean girl place to figure out how to like hit them. And then when I get to that mean girl place, I'm like, ooh, that's like super hard. Like that's harsh, man. Like it's shit that would go to the core. Like it wouldn't even be a joke. Like it would just be, ooh, like like
insult.
Yeah,
like, it's not even funny. That's just like
and I'm like, oh, this is so fucking,
Did everyone get roasted by Patrick Bagdon on Facebook that one day? Because I did. He's the one and only person who's ever roasted me.
Yeah, what was his roast show for you?
Ooh. It was bad. Like, he started it off like, I'd like to say some things about Amy Blaze, but she's just too nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went on to, like, I don't know if I should piss on her porcelain teeth or just shove my cock down her throat. Like, I mean, it was.
Oh wow.
It was crazy, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I showed like my whole family, and my dad was like, "I don't think this is funny at all."
You know what's funny? The first roast I had is on YouTube, and my mom came across it. She didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Like, it's just playful jabs at each other, and she's like, "Oh my god, they're making fun of your alopecia." Like, they're making fun. Like, why?
Yeah.
Are they doing? Like, it's the jokes. Like, it's not meant to be like mean spirited. Like,
now if it were an actual like celebrity, I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do that. You know, but like somebody on the scene, I'm just kind of like.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I
You
get
know-
that. Like, Sal's the same way. He doesn't like doing roasts.
You know, yeah, like, and then not only that, I get kind of selfish about it. Because I'm like, man, I could be just working on material.
My stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm writing specifically for that.
We are like super out of time.
Yeah, we are.
That's okay. I mean, it's our podcast. We
Right.
can do what we want because I still want to play.
Yeah, we gotta ask. Go ahead. We gotta do
Especially in honor of it's Joe DeGan's birthday
it.
today.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we started this tradition with Joe DeGan. And so basically, what is your favorite TV show theme or commercial jingle?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've never been asked that question before. Holy shit.
Like what gets stuck in your head?
Yeah.
Damn, y'all went to the bottom of the ocean on this one. Favorite TV show or commercial jingle? Sanford and Son.
Ah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. Very
Yeah.
iconic. Like, you know it immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as you heard that. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. Dun, 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 dun.
And you see that rickety ass
Yes,
pickup truck.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that was a great show,
I
too.
missed that show. I miss Red Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was really good.
You know he's still alive. No, I'm just remember for a while, like early
everybody
90s,
thought he was
that was the
dead.
joke
Like,
that
yeah.
he just trying to get away from tax evasion.
But yeah, it's got Sanford and Son definitely, and then the jingle to Barney Miller. That's an old.
Damn,
sitcom.
you
The
threw that
70s.
one way back, bro. I don't.
Yeah.
What was it?
I
How'd it
can't
go?
remember. It was, I don't know. I should put it on my phone, but I can hear it, but I can't.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Sanford and Son was, and that was. Here's a little history fact for all you kiddos out there. That theme was actually written and produced by Quincy Jones.
Wow.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yep.
The more you know.
The more you grow.
There you go.
That's right. That's good.
All right, so Rudy, where can people find you at, bro?
On Facebook at comedian Rudy Ruiz, Twitter, was that _?
Yeah.
Rudy Ruiz, and then actually Peter Daniel, Xavier Lamont, and myself are starting our own podcast.
You guys got a title for it?
Yeah, Nothing's Taboo.
Oh, like the show.
podcast- Yeah,
Yeah, like you
it's
guys had a
actually based
show.
off a show that Excel and I used to have years ago, that we've been trying so hard to get going again. We're just not.
That was a
getting-
dope concept
Yeah.
show. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It's gonna be nice. The podcast is gonna touch on aside from politics and pop culture, it's gonna talk about relationships, sex, and like bizarre news stories.
Ooh.
So we're gonna be like all over
That's
the
cool.
place. Yeah, well, I'm excited about it.
And where they're recording in at is
Place. Yeah.
let's just say scantily clad woman serving booze
Yeah.
and mozzarella sticks and shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Nothing Taboo podcast. That's what's up. Amy, what you got going on?
I think it's March 26th. They have a show at Grapes and Hops.
Ooh.
Which I had to write a bio for, which was really fun. And then I think it's April 30th. All the competitors
Yes.
from previous
Smoke break competition.
smoke break competitions are all competing against. All the winners are competing against each other, which is going to be awesome because I get to compete against my brother.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we have a lovely cash prize for that one. Like a nice big whole cash prize.
I'm the only lady on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Pretty excited.
That's cool.
about
You know what? Real quick before we check out of here, one thing that bothered me when I got into comedy, I was always told that women aren't funny.
Yeah.
So remember that for
Yeah.
like a minute, I was
Yeah.
doing nothing but female
Yeah, he was.
comedy shows, and those were dope ass shows.
Yeah, they were really
Yeah,
dope. And
I
to
remember.
add on to that, even though I know we're closing out, Leroy came to one of the shows, like one of the best shows I probably had with Rudy,
Yeah.
Charismatic Comedy. It was all female. It was Lisa Laird, Mona Soli Santos, Allie Clayton,
Laura Hug,
and
Crystal Pitson.
yeah, and myself on there, and it was an amazing show.
We
And
packed
Leroy
that
was
place.
like, "Wow," he's like, "That was probably one of the best shows I've seen."
Yeah.
And then he said, he's like, "Man," he's like, "You women are so different than guys."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "'Cause guys get into like a dick swinging contest."
Yeah.
And he was like, and every woman was supportive, but they were really focused on what they were trying to convey versus a dick swinging contest
Yeah.
versus. And I was like, I never even thought about that. He's like, yeah, all of you were like looking over your notes, going, you know.
That's one thing I've noticed. Producers, you're not doing yourself any favors by having one female on your show,
Yeah.
because you want the audience to pay attention to everybody that's up there, and you have one woman and she stands out because she's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
always
you're not-
make sure I have at least one or two females
I like
on
that.
the lineups
That's
that I
good.
do.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, Smoke Break Comedy is every Saturday and Sunday, basically. So,
Yeah.
Sunday
Yeah, that's
nights.
cool. You guys
Yeah.
are running that shit over.
Sunday is the open mic. Saturdays are our themed out show. Last night we had the debate. We're having another debate next the first Saturday of April. Next week we have Patrick Bagden,
Ooh.
and you're
I
on
love
that,
Patrick.
you're on that show as a guest. As a guest.
I'm on that show as a guest. That's
she
next
did,
weekend?
Yeah, she didn't even fucking remember you guys. Fail.
You asked me like one time.
And
like
I confirmed.
on break. One
Whatever.
time. Yeah.
But it's our Dirty Pint show. It's I can't really say it's a drinking game, but it is a drinking game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta check it
We wanted. I like dirty comics, and sometimes like I feel like people downplay them because it's like, oh, all they're doing is cursing and talking about dirty shit. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's really hard to make that shit funny.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do a show where it was dirty or pushing some type of boundary. So we have Josh Chuboff on there as well.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So that's this upcoming Saturday. Check it out.
She emphasized that to remind me, is what she
And I pointed right at her.
Yeah.
This, looking directly
Write
at the
it.
camera,
Write
but
it
pointing
down.
at Amy. This upcoming
Jesus.
Saturday is the show. So Dirty Pint, West Chicago, Oasis Cafe, 2009 Francisco Way.
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I made the flyer.
Okay. We've been the happy corner.
I've been KB, Marion,
Amy Blaze.
and this is Rudy Ruiz. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.
Peace.
Bye.